Oof, I'm all talked out. I'm not even in the mood to do this anymore.
Why?
Just kidding.
Because he couldn't get the sound exactly right, so now he just
Right.
doesn't want to do
I
it
give
at
up.
all.
I give up. Muerto la revolución. El revolución es muerto. Está muerto.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
Now I don't want to do this.
Slowly but surely, we have drained the life out of this podcast. All right. Well,
Who are we?
Who are we? Who am I? Who is it? I'll tell you who we are. God damn it.
We are Squawking Dead, a podcast pulverizing programs beyond the Walking Dead universe. Sometimes we give you news. Sometimes we make you laugh. Most times we go deep. I'm your host, David Gabia, and I'm joined by...
You suck. Me. I'm sick. Cosmo Mom 09. Shut up.
Lazy Gardner.
And Rob at Rob Stuff and Things.
Today we're here to discuss The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon's season finale episode, Solaz del Mar. Any housekeeping? Well, they have a merch store. So yeah, head to squawkingdead.com. Check out the merch that we have on offer. There's some really cool stuff that's available for you to enjoy, among which is the classic logo hats that we have. We've basically polled the audience, and it seems to be the most desired baseball cap. The default color scheme, which is the white lettering on black background.
Do you remember 300 years ago when I made my own Squawking Dead
That's
hat?
why I said you'd particularly like this. That's why I said that.
I know. I wanted a Squawking Dead hat, and David's like, we don't have any. And I said, well, I'm going to make my own. Send me the damn logo. And I did. I made my own hat.
You did. It was janky as but it was pretty sweet.
What do you mean it was janky? This it's awesome. I still have it. It's hanging up on my hat wall.
It was like a print, though. It was like a...
yeah.
It was like a vinyl.
Yeah, it was like vinyl. Yeah, like a screen print. Is that what they call it?
Yeah, I guess it would be called a screen print.
Yeah,
but
I like it.
Now it's like...
And it's a one of a kind. Nobody else has one.
That's very true. How does the title of this episode, Solaz del Mar, relate to the season 3 finale episode?
What's the name of the city that they're in?
That has the troubles?
Dummy.
Why is the episode named that?
Comfort of the Sea. Solace.
That's where the
because at the end
ends.
they are denied the solace of the sea.
That's
as their
true.
boat burns to ashes.
Ooh.
Maybe the fact that they're not in the sea is why it's so calm or has so much solace. Because, Daryl and Carol, when they travel, they just
wreak
screw
havoc.
things up. Yeah,
Also,
exactly.
I was very solaced by the fact that Cadron showed up by the sea.
This is like a personal connection to the title.
Long live Control.
In my notes, it just says Cadron with exclamation points after it.
Mm-hmm.
There was that funny scene with Antonio. After Carol saves Antonio, he brings her tea. And she goes, "See" at the end.
Because it has
milk?
honey and milk.
Then see. She goes
That man's
to him.
arms would not be functional once I got him down.
Ooh.
100%.
Thank you, Rob. I was like, no way would he be lifting anything, much less putting his arm around Carol or whatever.
Lift his arms.
His arms would be ripped out of their shoulder sockets.
With everywhere this episode took us, why does it always come back to Solaz del Mar?
That's where our characters are from.
That's where our story started.
Right. That's where they started.
Spain, pretty much.
True.
And now that whole city has solace because Fede's, not going to be ruler anymore, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I was going to say locked up, but no, not so much anymore. But
he's kind of free now, right?
But he's not really going to be able to come back and rule. They're not going to listen to him anymore.
That, they're not under the thumb of the Ofrenda anymore.
Right.
Dealing with King of Spain.
Wow. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
That took so much of my breath.
Are you okay?
No. I breathed so hard through all of that.
Alka-Seltzer.
El Alcazar. What is happening?
This is the palace. Which is so much easier to say the palace.
Yeah, the palace.
It could be also that kind of what I think what you're alluding to was like, yes, we started here, but also we ended here, and had maybe someone like Fede taken a stand against El Alcazar, maybe all of this could have been prevented. Or even one city decided not to do the ofrenda. How many soldiers do you think possibly that these people that they have there in El Alcazar or the palace, it took everybody agreeing to this system to keep it going? And who reaped the benefits? So maybe just saying Solaz del Mar is like an example of one of many cities that just allowed these things to happen. Kind of like what Daryl was saying. When the world went to crap, things could have gotten better or gotten worse. If people went bad or people went good. And he says Fede went bad. Your uncle went bad. But really, it's all these cities, too. They all went bad. They all went along.
I feel like that's kind of a broad generalization because your bad is somebody else's trying to protect their family or whatever. So everybody's like, oh, he went to the bad side. But maybe that was just what he thought was what he had to do to protect the people that he cared about. I get what Daryl's saying, but I don't completely agree with it. For a show that leans into the gray of people in a situation like this, that was a pretty black and white statement.
I think this entire season we've been trying to see things from Fede's point of view, and a lot of us were not quick to say, oh, he's the bad guy, because like Sharon just said, we don't know the whole story. Like it does seem as though he's making choices to keep his people safe. I think this last episode, for me personally anyway, I did see sort of the bad in Fede. He started making selfish choices, for himself and to protect himself and not the people. Absolutely. Absolutely. But we have no idea what's happening in the other cities, the other communities that were being forced to participate in the ofrenda. We don't know what it's like over there. I think I feel comfortable saying, yes, Fede went bad, but I don't know about the other places, the other cities.
He was still trying to maintain the alliance with Alcazar because, like he said earlier, that's what kept our people safe. That's why we have guns and medicine. Even then, I don't necessarily think he was bad. He just made a bad decision. He wasn't down deep a bad person. He just made a bad choice.
Well, he sent his niece away to cover his own butt. Yeah. He sacrificed her to save himself. That to me is pretty bad.
He says even out loud, did I make the wrong... in the episode after, we thought she volunteered, but really he sent her away. She goes, I was supposed to protect her. I was tasked to protect her from her.
So he has regret, at least.
Right. I mean, again, like it wasn't that he set out to do something bad. He made a bad decision in the heat of the moment.
No, he doesn't regret, though. He feels bad, but he did it anyway.
Yeah.
You can regret something after you've done it.
Did he express it? I don't think he did. In a manner of speaking, when it comes to Walker's about to bite your niece, everybody rallied when it came to Justina. But beyond that, he never apologized. He put it on Daryl in the end. You did this. You're the monster, not me. I'm not the monster.
Well, I mean, in a sense, Daryl did bring down everything on a royal scale this time. We didn't just go into some little settlement and bring them down. Like this time they took down an entire royal family. So,
if I may speak for Bridget, viva la revolution. Viva la revolution. Now I'm 100% on Bridget's side. I'm channeling the spirit of the ginger Bridget. So I will boil down my analysis to one question. Had Fede known how bad it was for all these girls they offended, because he doesn't know. I don't think he knows. And that could be a second parter. Maybe I'm wrong. You could tell me I'm wrong. But had he known how bad it was, if you're not matched, you're a servant. If you're a servant, you can get beaten or, as quoted a couple times, or worse. Had Fede known about that, would he have been likely to give up Justina? And that's how bad Fede is. And this is a hypothetical. Just based on your impressions and what we saw from this episode, would Fede have given Justina up to Guillermo Torres?
I think to save his own ass, yeah. I think it would have been the same
even
outcome.
If he knew.
Yeah.
Yes, Oof. I think he would have.
That's the vibe I get from him anyway. He doesn't seem like the guy that wouldn't put himself above even his family members.
Yeah, I agree. The alternative would be him admitting that he's been lying, and I don't see him doing that.
I think he probably would have taken the same actions. But again, at some part, he feels like he's doing it to keep his people safe. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one.
The few are the one, right?
He's not the one that's getting sacrificed, so it's all easy for him. But
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like that's his feeling.
Right. I'm kind of on your side to a limit, obviously, Sharondy, because it's kind of going to what Flashback Merle says to Daryl. It's different now. People do what they got to do or they die, is what he says in this flashback. It's not even Rooker's voice, by the way, but it's a good impression. I got to say, it's not bad. It's not a
Is
bad
that
one.
not Michael Rooker?
It's definitely not Michael Rooker. He is it's a great impression. 100%. It's just not him. I think that was said to also lend a little bit of grace to Fede, but at the same time, what gets me on your side, Rachel and Rob, is hearing him put his mistakes, as a leader, take no responsibility over the things that he did or even thought he did for righteous purposes. He put that all on Daryl, on the Americans, puta Yankees. You know what I'm saying? Took none of it on himself. You ruined everything.
Technically, they did. Everything was going smooth and fine until Daryl and Carol popped in and threw their monkey wrench into the situation. So he's not wrong at all that they ruined it, because they did. They were a big part of it.
Did they ruin it for him or did they ruin the town? Is the question.
Well,
They saved everyone else. They saved all the girls and brought them to safety, brought everyone back, and ended the ofrenda.
Which everybody seemed happy about.
Yeah.
Not
right,
losing
but what
another
I'm
daughter.
saying from his perspective, where he is the one who has to take care of everybody, and he feels like keeping the alliance with the Royals is how to do that. So someone coming in and just absolutely smashing all of their tradition and everything, to him, it is ruining it. You guys are looking at it from your perspective. You know, you got to look at it from his perspective, that he sees it as they came in and just ruined everything that he was working on to keep the town as safe as he could.
But once the illusion shattered, though, because the Primitivas proved that besides the guns and all that other stuff, that they weren't keeping them actually safe. You could say one thing, but they took away another thing. Then this makes me upset at the season. Let me mention this, because we never really got an answer about the nets of walkers, whether they were the Primitivos or whether it was El Alcathar's men skulking around the outside of Solaz del Mar.
I mean, it was pretty much implied that it was the Primitivos, because they started launching them when they attacked.
What were Guillermo Torres' men doing nearby?
They had left by that point, so they were on their way back to Alcazar. No,
But what were they doing out there? See, this is my point.
not getting rid of the Primitivos. Or
On the
cutting
one
down
hand.
the nets when they see them in the trees.
Right. So
Yeah.
what is that? What is that about? It just makes me think having that knowledge would give us a little bit more of an idea of the illusion of safety that El Alcazar was trying to pitch to all these little towns.
Yeah.
The weapons and being able to defend yourselves, I'm 100% on that side. But on the other hand, it's kind of like, well, what actual material protection are you giving to people on the road, to all these towns? What is the thing that you're offering? Even the medicine stuff, besides the Cipro and the actual other medications and alcohol, whatever pleasures or libations and stuff like that, there's all these like home remedies that they could have probably picked themselves. Obviously, getting them means you don't have to do them. That's fine. But is it worth losing people, feeding the dragon your daughters, your princesses, 5 years in a row?
We've pointed out several times the similarities, how savior-esque it is. And how many times have we said on the main show, if we had followed Negan at first, we would have been on their side, right? I'm not saying Fede's right. I'm just saying it's all perspective. If you're considering his decisions, you have to look at it from his point of view also.
I think we did a good job of following him to a point. I think even in the comparison between Fede and Negan, which is one that we never made, by the way, we're always comparing it to Guillermo Torres. Fede would be at best a Gavin in that scenario. Like, oh, I'm just a middle management guy, guys. That's Ezekiel. That's what I got to do. We're buddies here, right? Now you got to get in line. Right, Fede. That's Fede. But maybe just like Gavin, when it came down to it, he never took any responsibility. I actually recently watched the episode where he gets taken down by Henry, Gavin, all the way through. I watched the episodes leading up to it. All the way through, he put it on Ezekiel. He never took any responsibility. Say we're in the same boat, basically. Like, I don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. But here we are. When it came down to it and the bullets started flying, Ezekiel's like, we could still turn it back. You know, you could give up. It doesn't have to go down this way. And he's like, well, no, that's the way it has to go down because that's the way things are. Anyway, that's Fede, basically. You could roll it back. You could take responsibility, go down a different path. It doesn't have to go down like this. They even, like Negan, put him in a cell, put Fede in a cell. And at the end of the day, the one thing that Negan did that Fede didn't do was he said one of two things when he got caught and he's in the infirmary with Michonne and Rick. And he goes, everybody thinks they're the good guy, which implies that at some point I could have rolled it back. But I never really saw myself as being the bad guy. I knew what I was doing at the time. I knew it was getting away from me. I knew it when I said they're all dead after, remember he crushes the walkie-talkie after speaking with Rick after Carl dies. He says, I'm going to get them all, basically. He knew what he was doing. He just didn't care anymore. But when Negan was caught, I think there was a part of him saying, yeah, it's over. The jig is up. The flourish for me was when he manipulated his mom. That's what got me. Yep. It was on that side of he did everything he did for his town. And then even at the end, he said, calls Daryl a monster. And I could give him a little wiggle room. He'll figure it out while he's in jail. But even when he was in jail, he didn't wait a day before he manipulated his mom, who he lied to and gaslit, this being the third time. And then he says, they're going to kill me. Don't let what happened to your other son happen to me. That got me. You little bitch. You bitchity bitch boy.
Just used up all of our B words, David.
Yeah, that's probably true. But it was worth it. I think if I didn't do it, one of you should.
Because you got to say all the B words. And you left no B words for us.
The spirit was channeled through me. The spirit
You're not
of
wrong.
the bitch.
You're not wrong. I agree.
Wrong,
He did manipulate his mom.
It's like, it's one thing if you tell other people, but don't tell your mom. Don't manipulate your mom. Your own mom, who had your back, baby. Just telling you, she had your back all the way through. She relented. She let Carol have the medicine because it was for somebody else. Roberto, she has no problem with Roberto. She was trying to heal him the whole time. It's fine. But then that bothered me. Sorry, I'm done. So he's out there now causing chaos. That's one of the things that I kind of liked about this episode. There were a handful of episodes. I think it was 2 episodes that were like, even without commercials, were over an hour. This one kind of held tight to, with commercials, it was a little over an hour, but not by much.
That was only 52 minutes without, so.
Yeah, it got to say what it got to say without running the clock too far over that hour limit. Not like 62 or 64 minutes or something like that. That's pretty impressive.
No, I think they got a lot in there. I think it was actually a pretty satisfying end to the season for me. I don't know if you guys feel the same way.
It's definitely easier knowing there's another one coming at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they've been cranking these out fairly quickly, too.
I appreciated the Cadrone bookends.
Sure.
I'd have been really mad if we didn't already know there was another season, if they had ended it with Cadrone and then we're like, is there another one?
It's interesting we got no update on Laurent or Ash or anything throughout the season, though.
I had a feeling that they wouldn't. Because that's got to be something that we feel
like
from the
at
characters.
The end, just like a little bookmark to be like, here's where they got to, and then we'll see what's going on further in the next season. But that was just my hope.
Could have sent Daryl a raven or something.
Yeah, I thought it might have been a post-credit scene or something like that. That could have been something I would have been kind of like how they introduced Carol at the end of the first season.
Yeah. I noticed there wasn't even an episode insider for this one afterwards.
Which that makes sense to me because with the introduction of Codon into the series, or reintroduction, he was even credited as special guest, by the way, to Romain Levy. So I feel like that's going to be a very cool episode insider for everyone to enjoy. Like him coming back on set, that's definitely going to be a focus point for them to discuss Romain Levy behind the scenes. It doesn't look too good either as a character. I mean, Romain Levy can get it, but Cadrone might not.
He walked to Spain from where they left the channel, and it took him right up to that point to be like, oh, look, they're here.
That was a little weird.
Him coming back to the series rekindles a thought that the series introduced about Daryl being, quote unquote, the messenger. Laurent's premonition of Daryl as the messenger of God, that sort of thing. Did you not feel Cadrone's journey felt serendipitous in a way? That he just seemed to be arriving at the right place at the right time, seeing the Rubik's Cube at the St. James statue and being like, oh, that must be Laurent, something to that effect. And then seeing the explosion in the distance, that must be Daryl doing some Daryl things. There's signs everywhere that remind me of this character. Like he doesn't know that it's him yet.
Yeah.
But he's probably thinking, nah, it couldn't be. It couldn't. But maybe it is because Daryl's the messenger from God.
He might believe that even more when he goes down there and sees him.
Yeah.
Kind of night. You fall back into my lap.
He definitely will. Because it even dovetails to what Daryl says to Carol. Why do I get this voice in the voice? Whose voice is it? It's not just Merle's. It's God. He gets that voice to go. Can we all agree that it's not the voice to necessarily go, but that he runs towards something to save it, to punch it, right? To punch Negan. When it came to Glenn, he gets involved where he shouldn't. Why did he mess with the mechanic dude that put him on the boat? Why did he get involved in that situation? Why couldn't he just leave it alone with the kid who died? They killed the kid who was hurting all the walkers and stuff like that. Do you remember? That's how he got involved. That's why he punched the dude.
I just didn't make that connection when I first watched the episode, but you saying that makes sense.
Rachel's like, what the are you talking?
I mean, the same could be said for anybody in anybody's life. If I hadn't have done this, then it wouldn't have led me here, and I wouldn't have met this person, and then this wouldn't have happened. And that's the story of everybody's life, right? I mean,
everybody in the show, or
no, everything. Shows, life, all of us, everything we do, every choice we make or don't make leads to the next thing.
True, but I'm specifically talking about something that most people don't do is getting involved.
It all comes down to Daryl thinking he's doing the right thing, which goes back to what we were talking about Fede. Everybody thinks they're doing the right thing. Or what they're doing is for the right thing.
You hope.
Right. Well, yeah, but you think you're doing it for the right reason.
Well, unless you're a horrible person, but yes.
Isn't that what the show is saying? That like nobody's really a horrible person. We're all kind of gray. We all have reasons for doing the things that we do.
Well, I think it's the difference between doing the right thing for the right reasons or the wrong thing for the right reasons. There's a strata.
Again, that's all subjective though, because one person's good reason is somebody else's not a good reason. Everything is subjective.
I'll give you a little bit of wiggle room there because what did I say I think it was the end of the last episode? That people don't fall into evil or darkness all at once. We could say Fede may or may not have known what happened to these girls when they got to El Alcazar. I'm fine with the murkiness of that. So is Fede, probably. And he must believe that he did the things for the right reasons. But then things start to come in. Things start to unravel. People start to question things. And then when you have to keep doing bad things to keep up the bad thing that you did for the good reason, where is the line? And it is an apocalypse. I'll give you wiggle room. It's the zombie apocalypse. We might have to do a little bit more bad things to keep up the bad thing that we did before for the good reason. And especially when somebody comes in like Daryl and Carol, doing the right things, I guess from our point of view, because we are omniscient viewers, doing the right things for the right reasons. It's not right that these women are being taken away just to become slaves if they're not picked by this aristocracy, which is not really of the people. We're making there's a proposition that they are giving all these towns guns and stuff like that and medicine, but they're not really keeping them completely safe. And is it worth giving away these girls just so they become slaves, essentially? Not only in the palace, but also in the bedroom. They don't have a choice necessarily. What is the Walking Dead universe? I mean, from our point of view, after all this time, the chance to become who you were meant to be, and were people meant to be slaves? I mean, unless they really, really want to be slaves. It sounds weird, but no, not really. I don't think most people have every desire or wish to become slaves, be that sexual or physical.
Oh, nobody wants that.
I was being facetious, Rachel.
Oh my gosh, David.
Nobody wants to be. That's what I'm saying. Nobody really wants to be a slave.
No.
So it's like the antithesis of what we feel the Walking Dead universe is supposed to be. So knowing that there's a better way and somebody introduces that better way, well, then you have to kind of fess up. The bad thing you were trying to do to keep up the good thing, the reason for why you're doing it, it just doesn't work out. Then you kind of have to take responsibility and say, okay, yeah, mea culpa. You got to fess up. I did too many bad things to keep up the bad thing that made it so that we could be safe.
It's like the fallacy of sunk costs. I've already 100%. Put this much money into it, so I have to keep going. Thank you, Better Call Saul, for that tidbit of knowledge. But
thank you, high school ethics. But yeah, right. You get to a certain point. It's like, well, I either double down, go for broke, or I just say, hey, maybe it's just better if I walk away.
Also consider that on the whole, humans are pretty resistant to change, especially sudden change.
True.
So you have a situation, let's just say Fede, who's got this thing that's been going on for so many years, and somebody's like, oh, we're just going to change it. Naturally, people just tend to get their back up and say, wait.
That's true.
We're not going to change. So that's just human nature.
That's absolutely true. And isn't that kind of strange to even say that? Because it is just human nature, but isn't it also human nature to, I would say, bend the rules on behalf of the people you love? Namely, your niece, let's say. It's human nature to love and break the rules for those people.
Humans are complicated people, you know?
I know.
That's the whole point of the whole show. When we get into the black and white, nobody is black and white. Everybody is a shade of gray. Humans are complicated. They're diverse and different. You just have to figure them out, and it's very hard.
They're the walking contradictions.
That is the truth. Every single one of us is a walking contradiction.
Walking contradiction, walking hypocrites.
Everybody has those moments.
Yeah.
Throughout their life.
I think moments, we do it every day. We say things that we don't believe all the time.
One of my favorite things I ever read was your knee-jerk reaction is what you were raised to believe, but the second thought that you have is what you really believe. Your knee-jerk reaction when you see somebody different is say, oh, look at that person that's different from me. But your second action is to go, wait a minute, no, that person is just like me. It's ingrained behavior versus learned behavior.
I'll probably even go one step further than that. I think the first thing is the learned behavior. That's the first thing that comes to your mind. Second thing is what you want to believe. What you really believe, we will never know.
What you aspire to be.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
I say what you want to be. You're trying to change yourself into that. That's why it's important not to act on your very first knee-jerk reaction. Because invariably, it's not going to be what you really wanted to say or do in the first place.
Yeah, don't trust your feelings. We've talked about that before.
You can trust
Yoda.
them.
Don't trust
you can
your
trust
feelings.
them. Just don't shout them out loud right off the bat. Give it a minute. Think about it.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Take a breath.
So what does that say about Fede? I feel like him putting that on Daryl, let's just start there, is him saying, even being caught, knowing that I didn't have to do the things that I did, especially giving up my niece for the peace, quote unquote. Having put it on Daryl, what does that say about him?
He can't admit it to himself. He can't admit that he was wrong.
Some people just go bad and that's it. Yeah, of course, I have a problem with this, right? Because I don't believe people are inherently bad or evil. People do evil things, and I feel like people don't back down, but
I always try to see the good in everybody and give everyone a chance to be the better person.
Look how many chances we gave Fede.
That's the question, yeah.
It stands the test of time that we were able to annoy Rachel enough to talk about Fede for so long. That he's an interesting character. But I think I do think that's really the reason for it. I mean, he's out there just running around. He can't go back to Solaz del Mar. What can he possibly do? Become the new El Alcazar? Who's gonna back him? His people did run away to the sunset. They did ride it. Hiya, Sergio and all those other guys.
Didn't they knock him out? And don't they have him captured again?
No, they rode off they were expelled from the town. They rode off on their literal horses in the spaghetti western, right?
Somehow I missed that.
His henchmen done run off. So they're potentially still in the game, I guess.
They're going to
Sergio
find Lieutenant Squarehead from season 2. Who's
So,
still hunting Daryl.
I did not want to bring that up, by the way. Because among many threads, one of which was Guillermo Torres' men out there somewhere around where the Walker nets were in Costa da Mort. Fede mentions that in this episode.
Junkies. You are gonna die here and roam around La Costa da Morte until the flesh rots off those hueco bones. Esta nunca, hijo de puta.
Right? What a great way of putting that. But like in Costa da Mort, he mentions it specifically. That's where the nets were hanging of the dead that they used to catapult into Solaz del Mar. So this is the thing that bothers me, is that we don't really definitively know who set those nets up. Was it the Primitivos? I know they used them, but since Guillermo Torres' men were out there, we never got the connection of why they were out there separated from Guillermo Torres.
Maybe they worked together.
Yeah, he could have had them doing that.
Right. No, I'm assuming that, but we never got that answer.
We never did, no.
Then it brings us back to, you call her Lieutenant Squarehead.
I can't remember her name, that's why.
Sandrine, who is now like the hybrid Pouvoir de Vivant. And what was the other group? The righteous one? Pouvoir de Vivant was the military group. And what was Losang's group called?
They were at the nest, right? Those
Yeah,
people.
Exactly. We're getting close. Union de l'Espoir, the Union of Hope. Anyway, she is the head of that merger between the two factions that were fighting in the first season. So, jerk, why'd you bring that up? I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, you
I
did.
was thinking that. I was like, should I write this in my head? No, Rachel's going to hate me if I do. So,
well, I mean, it's kind of the logical, like you left that thread open-ended at the end of season 2, and then going into season 4, that they have to, I guess,
they could.
I don't know. They could just leave it open, just forget about it, I guess, but that would kind of be annoying.
Well, then how would they bring Falou back into the fold, right? If not for that loose thread.
Yeah.
Because we want to see him again with his girlfriend. Annika? I forget what her name was.
Yeah.
I'm not looking it up.
I tried looking up something about the play that they were doing with the walkers, but I really couldn't find anything other than in the 17th and 19th century in Madrid, they would have elaborate string marionette plays that showed religious scenes and historical scenes. So I'm wondering if maybe that was kind of what that was styled after, because it feels like they're trying to get like a historical feel to this place. The women are in the historical dresses and stuff like that. Other than that, I didn't really get a whole lot of history out of it.
Yeah, I kept it pretty simple. So in terms of marionetting itself, interestingly enough, marionettes were first introduced to Spain by French jugglers in the 12th century. And from there, Spain, like a toddler with a hobby, took it and ran to where...
Oh, so me?
Yeah. Well, does your toddler have a hobby?
No, I'm the toddler. This is the hobby.
Today, a lot of their marionetting involves animatronics. Their culture is very deep into that. They basically took what the French gave them and ran with it, which I bring up only because what is this series if not the same thing? They dropped Daryl into France and then he moved into Spain and took it to another level.
Yeah.
So there you are. And again, so the first 2 seasons were in France, and this season and the next season will take place in Spain.
That marionette show must have been hilarious because they were all laughing at these walkers just bumping into each other.
It kind of reminded me of the symphony that we saw in season...
Oh, yeah.
Was it 1?
1,
I think it was 1.
That was season 1 of Dead City.
In
was it?
Daryl Dixon.
That was Daryl Dixon. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It was,
With
it was
the mad
Dixon.
French guy.
You're right.
That one was like they had really like fused the walkers into the instruments and stuff like that. This didn't really look like that. They just had costumes on them.
Powdered wigs.
I mean, after 15 years in the apocalypse, you're going to be desensitized to walkers. They're just objects. So I can see why that would be entertaining. It's living puppets. Unliving puppets.
Right. Oh, well, huecos. They're like hollow, used to be alive things that are now for your amusement. I like what you said there because I think it explains a lot about their culture, or at least, the royal culture, the El Alcazar. I don't necessarily think it's about these things are objects for our amusement necessarily, but it's like, look what we can do. Look what we've already done. We've created a system that everybody's bowed down to. Everybody's been compliant to. We've basically subjugated the populace with a proposition. We promise that we'll give you all this stuff so you can protect yourself. And also we're protecting you in a blanket sense. We're protecting you. All you got to do is just one girl. And they've set themselves up in a new feudal system. And you know what? That makes the king's speech so much. It was bothering me. There is something to what he's saying here. And it's this weird Generalissimo Francisco Franco, which, by the way, the king was dressed much like Generalissimo Francisco Franco in his later years because of all the decorations, right? He's the guy. He's the main guy. If we're ever to win this war between the living and the dead, you're making a lot of proclamations right now. We're winning this war. If we're ever to win this war, I am the king and this is our fight between anarchy and order. It is, but you're not winning.
No.
But wait. The flame of human consciousness must keep burning. And it bothered me because it was very grand of him to say. It's such a weird thing to say in the world we've witnessed for the last 15 years. Because when it comes to principles and morals and all those things, you'll find yourself breaking them more often than not. And these people are sitting here, the flame of human. It's been 13 years or so for them in their world. Either they've been untouched by all this chaos and they've had people do the dirty work. Oh, it smells, right? Fede in the pits. Or they're just ishing themselves. They're just
these people are so
themselves.
detached from reality that they make their workers wear masks so they don't have to look at their faces. Exactly. I have the feeling that they have no idea what's going on outside of their walls Kind of like Alexandrians. Remember how unprepared the Alexandrians were until our people came in? They had no
On a
idea
whole
what
other
to do
level.
when walkers started coming at them. They were absolutely helpless, all of them. I'm not surprised that they think, oh, we're protecting the world of consciousness and we're winning this war. Sure, to you are, because you're not out there fighting it.
100%. So then when those marionettes, those undead marionettes are up there on the stage, there's a combination of, see what we accomplished? But also there's the, it's kind of like a roller coaster ride. It's like, ooh, so scary. Woo, woo. You know there's guardrails. You know there's a safety harness. There's this thing's been checked multiple times a day for its safety, that sort of thing. And then it has a weekly check with it. You know that they've done the work to make sure this thing is serviceable. It's the same thing with the marionettes. Look what we did. And here, the thrill, the dead thing is rang at me. We won. We're winning. It's fine. Like, parading around your victories in front of everybody. This dangerous thing that we know is unrelenting, doesn't sleep, that if you blink 1 second, it'll get you.
If they were truly royalty and not just people who took over the mantle after the end of the world or whatever, then the chances are that they never actually dealt with anything in the real world, even after the apocalypse. They have been sheltered forever. And so they have no concept of actual reality.
I think you just hit on something that had been bugging me about, let's say, the royal families of England and Spain. They are effectively a dingleberry in terms of governance. It's a constitutional monarchy, but the monarchy doesn't really do anything. So maybe to what Carol and Daryl says in this episode, they go different ways in their explanation about what the fall gave to people or took away from. It gave the monarchy a purpose. The Walking Dead universe made the monarchy relevant, and they used it to their advantage. So kudos to you, Sharon. That really brought out that thought. Because what happened to governments? They fell. All the people, the smart people in the room failed us. Except now the royals would be like, hey guys, is there a zombie apocalypse or something? Where are my servants? Why don't they give me the foods? Oh, I guess we have to do something. Okay, we got this. Okay, let's set up a feudal system and get a bunch of wenches up in this bitch. Said it again. It's fine. It was worth it. I think it was just emphasis.
Every time you do, I just look at Rachel. I'm like,
what? Yeah, me too.
Did you notice that the zombie queen was crowned and then she's the one that actually ate the real queen?
I didn't know.
And it was the jester who ate the king.
Yeah. But then Daryl got to kill the king.
Oh, the
Walker
after
king. He was already dead.
So Daryl got to kill the Walker King. Is that him like killing these terrible memories of his dad in his mind? You know, like is that what we're supposed to be?
Oh, geez, Louise, that's awesome.
Symbolizing here.
Because I was wondering what that dingleberry of a scene was meant to convey as well. That's the word of the day is dingleberry.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of an odd thing that was just shoved in there for some reason. In that checkerboard of scenes, they kept flipping back and forth between Solaz and El Alcazar. They just kept going back and forth, each and every scene. It wasn't as though they stayed in one place. They kept flipping back and forth between all the crazy stuff that was happening there. So when that happened, I was like, okay, this is an interesting fluffer piece. But I did wonder, Sharon, what that meant. And I think I'll take that explanation completely. Down with the system. Viva la revolution. Walker King person up in your neck.
Wanted to bring up something that I noticed when I went back to rewatch. I've been paying attention to the visuals they use in the opener.
Oh, in the title sequence? Yeah, sure.
Yes. And I think that they were actually giving us hints about what was going to happen throughout. So that first building at the beginning kind of looks like Mont Saint Michel. And then we cut to Carol, and then we cut to Daryl, and then we have a place that looks like Solaz. Then we have a Primitivo. Then we have the lady that's in the lighthouse. She's standing with a railing in front of her. And then we have the royal family turning into walkers.
Right.
And then there's like another one where there's like stuff burning, because there was a couple of episodes ago where they had like a festival where they burned stuff. I can't remember exactly what happened. I also think they changed some of the scenes throughout the season because some of them weren't, I'm not going to swear to this, but I feel like some of them weren't in other openers.
I thought maybe, but I have a feeling that they've been there the entire time. The one that will jump out at me that I didn't notice until we'd seen it was the catapulted walkers. You'll see they're like fireballs, sort of little tiny fireballs heading towards Solaz. But I feel like they've been there the whole time. It's just that there was no reference point for us to even begin to connect it, and especially since they were burning the effigies near the end, I think, of the title sequence. And even like Antonio and Carol, them making out in the title sequence. I'm assuming that's them, by the way. There's no reference point to that other than the sneak peek that you may have gotten at San Diego Comic-Con, let's say, of the season. But other than that, you wouldn't know it would have been them.
I just loved the royal family turning into walkers. That was really cool.
I would not have seen that coming, considering the title sequences from the first 2 seasons. They were kind of similar. Like it just looked like Baroque paintings melting and stuff like that, turning into walkers. Which kudos. The fact that they gave us kind of like not a nothing title sequence in the first 2 seasons, that we wouldn't pay attention as much to what was happening. It was more cultural markers and stuff like that. No, there are actual things in this season that are buried in the title sequence waiting for you to be discovered. See, it's like they turned our spidey senses off. Like, oh, this is cool, but has no bearing. And yet it does. Literally, Daryl Dixon ended the monarchy in Spain.
He really did. He not only killed them, and then, of course, Elena ends up killing a future king.
Guillermo Torres, right. Well, the father of her child, too. I was thinking about that, too, on 2 levels.
That kid did not care. I don't know if he saw that happen, but he was just like, oh, okay, we're leaving. No, hey, where's Dad? Let's just go.
Well, to be fair, I don't know how old this kid was, too.
He was old enough to care about where his dad would be.
Well, it seems to me like his dad was too busy going around picking up other chicks all around the countryside. Maybe he just wasn't home that much.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I was wondering what you guys thought about some of the things he said to Elena, too. And there's one clarification we need to make at the end of that. But let's start with this, is that he kind of makes it clear you were looking at that girl a certain way. And I know, and he figures out who she is a little later once he gets a good look at her. Because in her own flashback, that was the last thing she saw. But do you think that he makes it clear that he's done with her when he initially starts saying some of the things he was saying to her?
I don't think he was done with her. Oh. Not at first.
Not at first, right.
I think he was just like, I'm disgusted with you that I gave you everything and you're still lusting after someone else.
I don't think he was done with her at all.
No, I'm actually not done with her at all.
Not at all.
Because he told Paz that they were going to be together every night. She was going to
He said he was going to mount her head on a
Right, he was going to mount Elena's head on a spike on her bedpost. So I guess he was done with her then, but...
Yeah.
So here's the thing. So that's the thing I need to clear up, because when you actually listen to the Spanish, the way he says it is not what the subtitles say. The subtitles are not translating him correctly. What he says at the end is, your head will be mounted on Elena's bedpost in Spanish.
Well, that's a
huge difference.
It's a big mistranslation. I'm going to be honest,
I thought that was a really weird thing for him to say, because I was like, okay, why would you keep Paz alive?
I do hope they fix it before the episode airs. Do you remember when we were able to get the screeners for The Last of Us? I know that we had access to screeners for The Last of Us, but I think it was on the same day, or like we got them when the episode was publicly available, because they were trying to be nice to us. I don't know if you remember, we saw... It could have been Craig Mazin in the foliage in one of the scenes, and I actually pointed it out, but they fixed it before it got to public airing, but they didn't fix it in the screener, so I got to show people what it was.
Oh,
so
that's right. Yeah.
I'm hoping this is one of those scenarios where they see a couple of things that they could touch up, and the subtitles being one of those things. And we're not talking about the subtitles that are in the closed captioning. We're talking about the subtitles that they give to the general audience in the episode overlay, translating the Spanish to English for general U.S. audiences.
The subtitles you get in closed captioning, at least on my television, just said speaking in Spanish. It didn't even translate it, so
exactly. It's interesting that it went down that way. But to go back to the original question, I feel like until he figured out who this person was, I think he was done with her. And this is just my opinion.
He's not going to be done with her. He made a comment about, do I need to remind you? Oh, I can't remember of your place or something. He's not going to be done with her. The only way he's done with her is if he kills her. But he's not going to let her go off with anybody else. He's not just going to leave her peacefully. That would make him look weak. No way. No, he was never going to be done with her. And the translation you just shared with us makes a lot more sense. He would keep Elena alive by his side with Paz's head on her. But yeah, absolutely. What do you mean by done with her?
Well, there was something that I said in the last episode, in that when you have all the nuts, when you can literally do whatever you want because everybody lets you do what you want, and you get a peek of that when the guy that Justina is matched with does what he does to kind of strong arm her and not help her at all. Is like, we can do it. You deceived me. I can do whatever I want. I'm the royalty. Respect my authority. Guillermo Torres says something to the effect of, like, he said, right, you mentioned I gave you the world. He says something in past tense, though, also. And again, he didn't recognize who she was until he knocked her out when Paz met up with Elena and the kid subsequently.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when he recognized her. He saw the cowgirl, couldn't see exactly who it was, but he saw Elena's face when she looked at the cowgirl.
Sure.
And he saw the cowgirl from the distance at Solaz. There was a little bit of that going on.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't know exactly who it was until he got up close and personal and says, oh, yeah, you're the trash that I put out, basically. Up until that point, I feel like he was determined to teach her a lesson about what you stand to lose by seeing anybody else other than me as your future.
Yes.
What that is, okay, maybe I misspoke when I say I'm done with her. I don't know what it was, but I have a feeling if he wanted to, if he was like super, like, this is not for me, like, she's never going to come around. I don't see why in a world where you could literally do whatever there's no God or authority holding you over. And because people let you, you're literally making these girls, they don't know, you're making these girls your slaves. Well, what's the next step over? All the king has to do is say, yeah, I mean, if she's not copping on to this system, take her boy away from her, kill her, and we'll match you with somebody else. If she doesn't appreciate these gifts that we're giving her, that's where I'm coming from. It's like there's nothing that makes it so that he can't do that. I'm a fear-centered brain. There's nothing holding me back from thinking the worst awful things about some people, especially if there's nothing telling them no. Like Fede, there's nothing telling him no. There's no reason he has to take responsibility for anything if there's no higher authority. I mean, his mom can't even get him to, she says, you did this to yourself, bro. And he's still, that's where I'm operating off of. Like there's a repeating theme of, well, we are the ones in power. We don't have to do right. We don't have to take responsibility over the people whom we claim to love. Who cares? I don't care.
Yeah, they only care about themselves.
And I'm not, let me put it to you this way. It doesn't matter in the end. It really doesn't. It's just scary to think that he could. And then when he figured out who it was, it's like, oh, you know what? I'm not done with you. I am going to torture you for the rest of your days because your love's walker head will be above our bedpost forever and ever. I just turned into Pee Wee Herman for a hot second.
A little bit.
Oh my gosh.
I'm boss.
Pee Wee Herman Walker would be hilarious.
We gotta tell Greg Nicotero. There's
what happened? Did we ever see the Jason Walker?
Where was the Jason Walker? Was I right? Maybe
you may have been, because I don't. Unless we go through again and like look for it, but I never caught a Jason Walker.
Jason Walker. I don't think we saw it. And if we did, would it have been this episode or the last one?
I'd have to go back and watch all the episodes again.
Oh, no.
I didn't see anything that was obvious.
Great catch, Rob. I would have totally forgotten about it. I would have died never thinking about it again.
I did forget about it.
Things would have been fine, but now I'm going to sleep less well tonight, Rob.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
But are you?
No, not really.
I'm not either. Walker Pass.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Stop.
I'm sorry I encourage him because he actually makes me laugh inside.
I can't with you.
Let's talk about this. Carol, when explaining to Roberto, says, before the fall, we didn't think we had a future. And when you think about Carol's life, even just after the fall, it wasn't great with Ed, and even with Sophia because of Ed. We didn't think we'd have a future, that love wasn't meant for us, obviously, because look at my life. But the Walking Dead universe makes it so that you become what you were meant to be, or what you could get things that you couldn't get had it not happened. Daryl goes the other way. And this is at the end of the episode. When he's talking to Justina, why are you doing the things that you're doing for us? Justina says to Daryl, there's no reason for you to, especially since we just watched your flashback where it was like, things are different now. You have to do the things you do to protect yourself, to survive, basically. And some of those things are going to be bad. Fede, right? So why would you do this in this world? And he says, we lost something when the world fell, and he lost his chance for love. Daryl says, basically, but I'm not going to let that happen to you. And I like that we get the two perspectives, because up until now, we as deadheads were like, yeah, Walking Dead universe is great. I wish I had it. And then they're basically saying, well, Daryl's saying there was a chance that he could have had a better life while the world didn't go to crap. And I think maybe even one could even say, sure, Daryl found a way to thrive after things fell. But I think it might be safer to say that with all the mental health services that are out there in the world, and he could have found a job and found stability, and his dad wasn't around anymore, and maybe he could have lifted Merle up, and it didn't have to go to the point where he lost his hand and died by the governor and all that stuff. Maybe something could have happened. There would have been a chance. Daryl could have found love, could have had a healthy brother and all that stuff. But it went down this way, and that's fine. And the end result is he was in love, and he lost it. The sum total of his journey thus far it made it so that it gave her this answer, where he wasn't at all interested in helping Justina and Roberto all this time until now. He was like, well, maybe this is what all this led to. Maybe that's why I went through what I had to go through. It's to give you what I couldn't have. I just find it really cool that, like the Codron thing in the beginning and the end, there was this as well, this Carol and Daryl explaining the apocalypse from two angles. Because we don't think about what we would lose often. We talk about it sometimes, but like ice cream, right? Refrigeration.
You lose everything, pretty much.
Air conditioning.
Every luxury you can think of, unless you can build it back up, which is what they're starting to do. But other than that, like when it first falls for the first couple of years, even every luxury you can think of, you've lost. Medicine, showers, stability. You don't even know if your house is going to stay up because someone can either come take it and knock it down or burn it to the ground or whatever. But
people could claim to be the king of Spain in the US. We could all go to crap. I think we take for granted all the things that we would lose.
Oh yeah, people say all the time, I would do so well. Walkers would just come. The Walking Dead actually happened. I was like, most of us would just die.
You're not a Daryl Dixon.
Yeah, no.
Even Eugene made it past the entire Walking Dead. Not unscathed, but his mullet took a couple hits, but he made it. You wouldn't
became
do
a
that.
rat tail.
Exactly.
I mean, people did live before there were the luxuries that we all know today.
Sure,
I mean,
but they didn't have a bunch of
it would be
dead
possible.
things trying to get them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that would be quite the obstacle, but I mean, it would be possible. It'd be a lot more difficult.
It's definitely possible. I just think a lot of the people that claim that they would thrive when the world went to shit like that would absolutely fall.
They'd be the first ones dead.
Yeah.
Because they'd go out there and try to fight while we're all hiding.
I have been thinking about this a little bit more than I usually do on our podcast, because there's a lot of things that have been happening in the last few years that made me think about the life that we have here is not the life that people have elsewhere. It's why sometimes when people say, oh, I wish it would just happen. Then I wouldn't have to go to work. I keep thinking to myself, yeah, but I think for other people around the world, for the Walking Dead universe to happen would make their already terrible lives way worse.
Yeah.
Not to get political or whatever, but y'all couldn't even wear a mask for 5 hours a day without complaining about it. You could not survive in the apocalypse. I'm sorry.
I mean, you would probably complain a whole bunch.
Every day would be work in an apocalypse.
Yeah.
You can't tell me not to get bitten by a walker. I'll get bitten by a walker if I want to.
And then when we don't hear from them again,
you're taking away my rights to say I can't get bitten by a walker.
I would be pushing that person into a walker.
To Rachel's point, like every day would be work. Like you'd be working harder in the zombie apocalypse than you would be in your normal day to day, like at your job, because you'd be working for trying to find food, water, whatever else you need just to stay alive.
And not only that, it wouldn't be in air conditioning with electricity. It'd be out in the slogging in the heat and humidity and having to kill animals and get up to your elbows and guts. And no, it's gross. You would never do it.
As Rick's friend at the CRM said, no more swamp ass because he got to go back into the
into the
air
AC,
conditioning.
Yeah. That
what
would be the worst part. The smell.
Yeah.
The smell, the discomfort of sweat and grime.
Not being able to take a hot shower whenever I want to. That would be the death of me. That and no air conditioning. Nah, you know what? Life's not worth living. Just kill me.
The no shower and the smell would kill me. That would be the worst part.
Yeah, I mean, I'm stubborn. The difference is, okay, if it happened, here we are. Let's do the thing. But I wouldn't want it to happen.
No,
there's a difference, right?
I would try to survive.
I don't know.
I don't know how far I would get.
No Squawking Dead. How can I survive? I can't survive without my Squawking Dead.
Now, let's be fair. It's a negative income operation. But hey,
Yeah.
listen, we love doing it, and we hope you love hearing it. So
I don't know.
How could we survive without Squawking Dead to listen to and explain TV shows that we can't watch anymore?
exactly.
There's some
Listen,
days
you get a
I welcome
generator,
it.
find the Blu-rays.
Anyway, I love that. I love that the show continues to find ways that we can, well, make fun of ourselves.
Mhm.
That like, I don't want to go to work tomorrow. What the zombie apocalypse happened? And it's like a trade-off. Let's move on. Let's move on.
I tried to find Daryl's mask. I could not find it, but it does resemble a Guy Fawkes mask. That's as close as I could
A little
find.
bit.
I was thinking to myself, it looks kind of like Daryl, which is weird. You have a mask of yourself. Gross.
I thought it was interesting that Paz had a half mask and Daryl had a full face mask.
It was like in my notes, I'm like, do I want to talk about this? Do I want to talk? What does that mean? Who knows?
Actually, what it looked like was, let's pull it back onto Sherry again. The mask that they used in Fear when they cut the faces off the mannequins and used them as masks.
I did think
yeah.
about that. Yeah. Well, it made me think of Rachel. Okay. Because remember when we first saw the previews for that season 5 of Fear the Walking Dead, I think it was. Well, it wasn't season 6 quite yet, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Season
that was
5.
season 5.
The jump scare at Dwight's dwelling. And it was, you saw the mask flash in the window as he's skulking around his, and you're like, mask, what the F? This is when we were saying curse words.
Ugh, that. What? What the hell? I'm not a big fan of masks either. If I can't see your face, not cool. Not cool.
Huge fear boner. Mask, nope, not for me, or something like that.
Is that what I sound like? So rude.
You were just so flummoxed.
Get the bleep out of here with your bleeping mask.
Meanwhile, we're all looking at the Robinette's eggs. Sign. The third one we've seen, or second one we've seen in the series, I think it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was the back half. I think,
never
of season
did
5,
find a correlation to that anywhere. I tried really, really, really hard.
It's kind of like what is that potato chip brand that shows up? I don't know if it's in this series. I can't remember what it was. Could have been even The Office, I think.
Are you talking about Let's potato chips from Community?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, there we go. But I think it shows up in other series as well. If
Maybe.
I'm not mistaken.
Let's and Plingles.
I
Or
don't know about
Springles.
Pringles.
Plingles, yeah.
I do remember seeing the canned ham thing in the Walking Dead universe and it having a name that was funny, but I just
That
can't
wasn't
remember what it was.
spam.
Wasn't it Cram?
No, that was
Cram is
Fallout.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh yeah.
Which, that's a thing.
That's a thing
they
from the
were
games, yeah.
deliberate with the naming. It sort of resembles a name, but it's also like, cram it in a can and also in your face. So
In your
just
face
cram
hole.
that ham.
Ugh.
Well, subsequently, one way or the other.
Whoa, Black Betty, cram a ham. Whoa, Black Betty, cram a ham.
Or cramble the ham. Also, yeah. Cramble ham.
You'll never hear that song the same again.
Nope. I always sang ambulance.
Yeah. Yeah. Cram ham ambulance. Yeah, sure. I think one thing follows the other. We saw Alba in this episode. Alba is the one who helped Antonio and Carol, brought them in when they were dodging the bullets from Fede's people. Fine.
Mhm.
She also throws down the knife to Carol from when, Roberto was tied up to.
No, what did he? It wasn't Alba. He called her something else.
Who's he?
Antonio.
Here's when you heard her name. You heard her name when Alba throws the knife to
Yes.
Carol.
But
It's the
initially,
same
I think it
person.
was her mom that.
Right. That
Brought
helped
them in.
Yes. True.
Yeah.
But, one half dozen the other.
Get it
it's the
right,
same.
David.
Okay, fine.
Details
She was
matter.
in there. She was there in the home. Is what
Sure.
I'm saying. Yeah.
Sure.
Because we had asked that question. Is the girl from El Alcazar? Is that Alba? Right in the
No.
back of the truck with Justina. Fine.
No, we decided no when we had that discussion.
No, I know. But now for sure, it's like, well, maybe she was. No, we don't know.
No,
But wait, there's a more important thing I wanted to get to. I just thought it was, this is an interesting aside that she's still here. She's still getting paid as an actor. That's fine. But more interesting than that, okay, we saw Jaime get hung up by the Strapado in the third episode, where Guillermo Torres comes in. He's like, oh, where's my daughter? And
Mhm.
Guillermo Torres goes, Strapado. He doesn't say that, but he subsequently, more, give me more. I want more Strapado.
Oh my gosh.
This is Jaime, right?
Jaime, not Giles Corey, but yes.
Sure.
Was
fine.
that really the same guy?
This is the same
No.
guy. He leads him through the tunnels
Yeah.
outside to the city, basically, outside Solaz. But there's still walkers, there's a pit, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Then Gustavo does what he does, brings him to Fede, all that stuff. So this is the question. remember how he has a daughter. Daughter is in Alcazar. I'm going to make the assumption that one of the girls, and I think I know which one it is, it's the lady with the scar, the girl with the scar on her face, is his daughter. Because when Justina looks out in the balcony when we first see her in El Alcazar, she looks at this girl knowingly. And it's not the girl that was with her. It's a different girl. And she has this scar on her face. And she smiles. She's like, oh, it's the girl. It's Jaime's daughter, I think is what I'm saying. It's like, why would she do that for anybody else other than the girl she was with in the back of the truck?
Yeah.
But I think it's Jaime's daughter.
I like that. Yeah.
Wait, but this is a bad thing. Maybe. If we're to assume that, what ends up happening near the end of the episode? Who ends up going to Solaz del Mar?
Not her.
Not her.
Not her. She goes to the Barcelona camp.
That's right. The one in TB Dabo. That's right.
Yeah. So maybe we say it's not her. Because otherwise, wouldn't she speak up and be like, oh, if you're going back there, I want to go back there too. Because that's where I'm from.
I think what they said was the safest place to go would be the Barcelona camp. That doesn't mean they're going to stay there. Maybe they felt like it's the safest place because maybe they won't be looked for there. Like if the girls escaped and went back to Solaz, then that would be where they would expect to find them. Because they don't know that everybody in there is dead.
Well, that's where Justina's going.
Right.
Yeah.
But Justina's like, she's like, I'm doing my own thing.
Getting on the back of the bike with this dirty man.
I feel like the other girls, if they are from Solaz, or like maybe it's safer for them to go to the Barcelona camp first and then they can make their way home.
Oh, yeah, there were other girls, weren't there?
Yes.
This is interesting because we only saw a handful of these girls. And I'm assuming there's more, and I'm making a mountain out of a molehill, but if we saw 5 different ribbons, Justinas, right? There were 6 ofrendas total. This was the 6th one. I think I only saw 6 girls. So, were they all from Solaz del Mar?
That would be...
Could they have been?
I feel like that'd be highly unlikely, but
yeah,
it is a dead world.
So we see the girls in their dresses and they're standing like around the fountain thing, right?
Right.
I was under the impression these were the girls they gathered for this year.
Towns.
The other 2 girls, the girls that were maids or slaves or whatever.
Yeah.
They obviously were from a previous ofrenda and they were not chosen.
Right, exactly.
It could have been the same one, could have been different ones. The 5 girls in the dresses that we saw were, I assume, all from this year, not.
True.
They didn't just
and they
carry over
came back
from
with the
last
other girl
year.
with Justina.
Yeah.
True.
The other ones
And
might have already been there, maybe?
Here's the thing that I'm thinking is like, what happened to them? That's all. Did they go somewhere else?
Well, I mean, if they're all made to be servants,
They might have been chosen.
Right.
Could have been chosen. They're out in those other places.
It just makes me think where they are. That's all. They'd all die. It's possible.
Well, so the girl that we met at the Barcelona camp, she wasn't chosen,
rescued,
and then
right.
she escaped. So
right.
Maybe some were lucky and escaped.
It's also a really big castle, so if the girls weren't in that very exact spot where everything was going down, they could easily have escaped afterwards.
Or been servants in other areas of the palace.
Either servants or taken by the royals. Now we know definitively that they're given to royals.
This is embarrassing, so go ahead and laugh at me. It took me until like the 3rd flower to realize what was actually happening.
It's like a really messed up bachelorette.
Yeah. I was like, oh, he's going to give her a flower. It wasn't until the 3rd one that I realized the flowers were the same color as their dresses.
Oh, well, I didn't know that, but I assumed that the flowers were like, you've been chosen.
I like how she manipulated him by taking her hair down. Because that was what made him choose her. And she was like, you manipulated me. Like, she took her hair down, dude.
You manipulated me.
I thought the whole manipulation thing was, well, the way she acted, too. Or if it pleases you. It wasn't just the hair thing. I think it's, sí, señor, please. If it pleases you, senor.
Take me with you.
He chose her because of that. Because she took her hair down and then he went over and picked out the white flower.
True. Listen, listen. Put it on her. Sure. That's what we should always do. All do. Let's put it on the girl.
Typical
David,
shallow.
Shut up.
Typical shallow dude.
I was being facetious.
Don't blame the victim.
Why are you blaming me? I was just doing what I'm supposed to do. So let me show you a couple things. There's a little history lesson on where El Alcazar was filmed. It's a real place. Wasn't a set. How I know this is because Paz was saying, like, here, welcome to the old world, and they pan up to the ceiling of this place. You got to see how ornate it is. It matches up with this one particular place, which I will show you, called the Royal Alcazar of Seville.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Now you notice the roof here? That's the roof we got to see.
Ceiling?
Yeah, the Royal Alcazar in Seville, Spain. And here's the ramparts that you got to see from the distance. You get to see them a little better. Well, it's probably a better screenshot somewhere else, but the fountain here, the courtyard. There is a shot of the atrium somewhere. Somewhere here, there's like a stage here. But yeah, beautiful, ornate, Moorish in design. These archways, so beautiful with the pillars.
Mm-hmm. I love European architecture.
Yeah. Very gorgeous.
This is more arabesque. There's a lot of Moroccan influence in the tile work and stuff like that. And even when Paz was getting to work with Daryl, she picks up this end table, and it's a table that I would have too. There's very Arab influence in the woodwork and the detailing on the table itself. It's really, really cool. I feel like I need to show a picture of the tabletop of this end table. It's really, really unique in design. And obviously there's a lot of Moorish influence in Spain. Let's show you a shot of our boy, Codron. This one particular shot is pretty good, though. I very much enjoyed. And it's this side profile shot here before we knew it was him. And what do you see in clear, plain sight in that shot? Look down.
I see lots of stuff, David.
No.
You're missing
the PPP thing.
Correct. I feel like they wanted us to see this one more time. When we saw it the first time, it was in front of the statue. They actually moved it to the side of the statue so that we could see it better here on this shot. I don't know what it means, guys, but it
means nothing. They're trolling us.
Scott Gimple is trolling us. Yeah, exactly.
They're trolling us. That's what it means.
But also, it's just a really good shot of the statue with Codron.
So how about this? The PPP is the People Power Party in South Korea, and their colors are yellow and blue.
It's fine. I'll take it. Goodbye. Is it time to watch the flashback? As I think we should. It's also the thing that got us dinged, I think.
So maybe we don't watch it.
You need to grow up.
Right? Isn't that a great impersonation?
I thought it was him.
Go! Run!
Things are different now. Little brother, people do what they gotta do. Or they die.
You okay?
Yeah. I'm okay.
There is a lot here. There's two contrasting things, and it's the same thing as Carol and Daryl in the beginning and the end of the episode. What the apocalypse took from us and what the apocalypse gave to us, right? Carol, what it gave to us, a future. Daryl, what it took from us. Same thing with these flashbacks. In the flashback, young Merle is telling Daryl to run. And old Merle is saying things are different now. You can't run. You got to do what you got to do or you die. In the past, when it came to your dad, okay, you can't kill him. There's no world in which you could call the cops on him. You'll just end up back at home.
The way he says little brother, it sounds, I could swear like it's Brooker.
But it's what he says after that made me think it wasn't him, because it didn't sound like him at all.
Well, the first part sounded a little off too, but the little brother is what...
Little brothers.
Yeah.
People do what they got to do or they die. Did not sound like Michael Rooker at all. There's a reason why this shows up here, because this shows up here specifically to contrast what Justina says. You got to do what you got to do or die, or you die. And then she says, why are you doing the things that you're doing, given what your brother said after the fall? You got to do what you got to do. Why would you do this for us? It's been leading up to this the whole time. Why did you run when you were younger? Why do you run towards things now that things fell? Or you can't sit still. So two things can be true when it comes to Daryl as an adult. Not now necessarily, but a little bit now. One is that it's true. In season 9, he says to Carol in Rick's New World Order, he says, I liked it when it was just a handful of us out on the road. Not this whole New World Order thing. Whatever's happening here is not working. People are starving. It's not working out. There's chaos, etc. And he wanted to run, but he stayed for Rick, his brother, to Carl's vision, etc., etc. Until he didn't. He was like, screw this. It's over. It's not going to work out. But even then he stayed, right? After Rick died, he went to look for his body for his sake because he betrayed him. And however it went down is the way it went down, but he felt responsible a little bit for that. So, and also it's his brother, so he wants to look for him. Fine. But at the end of The Walking Dead, when he does go off, I'm glad he brings this up, because even then, even after everything that happened, what was the reason? And he brings it up himself. Why did I run? And that's what the flashbacks are all about, to address this one fundamental issue for the series beginning. We wrote it off for so long that we never really got an adequate answer to why he went off and why he did the things that he did. I think maybe even Feta in this episode, not taking responsibility for his actions, made Daryl question some of his own actions, how things ended up. it's always things happening to me, never me doing the things that maybe landed me where I landed, let's say in France or in Spain, etc. So the flashbacks are a way of us giving us a little bit more context to his past to figure out why his instincts, right? You said it best, I think, Sharon D. It's like your first gut thing is your learned behavior. Daryl's flashback of running, right? Merle tells him to run from his dad. Your second thought is what you should do, which is Daryl running towards the danger, post-apocalyptically. Merle saying, you got to do what you got to do or you die. But also at the same time, he wasn't listening to Merle's advice. He was running towards the danger. And of course, we all know that Walter White is the danger. Moving on. It's just interesting to see all of this come together with the flashbacks, with this series premise and his past and present colliding. Him reckoning the two things that can be true, that he did run away in the series. That's what caused this whole thing happening. But also throughout his journey, he runs towards the danger wherever he is.
Or whenever they went to settle down anywhere, that whole scene made me reflect on his whole journey throughout the main show. When they got to the farm, he separated. He went off and made his own little camp. He was staying away from everybody, keeping himself distant. Going to the prison, I think he stuck around more because there was always a conflict in season 3 that he always had to be there for. And obviously he ran off to go get Merle when they got to Woodbury and stuff like that. But season 4, obviously they're separated. But once he gets to Alexandria and stuff settles down, he's got to go. He felt super uneasy there. Even getting into the Commonwealth, he had to find a way to get out of there. He found a purpose in going into their military and stuff like that, and like actually running away from the town itself.
Going back to even Alexandria, right? He managed to finally channel that impulse into finding other people to bring back and finding excuses to go be like Aaron, to go out there and...
Aaron recruited him. He made it sound like Daryl saw out Aaron for that job, but it was the other way around.
A way to channel that, but Aaron did kind of like see that in him and be like, I can help you channel that.
Right.
It just suited him. And now we know why. Or even more of a reason why that is. It literally peak healthy version of Daryl, I think, as you could be in the zombie apocalypse. And then here he is again, going out and I think his fear is valid about what if I get home and I want to run off again. He kind of did that, like you said, in the Commonwealth with Judith and RJ. Is like he would put himself in dangerous situations, not thinking about, well, what happens if you don't come home? It's possible in this world.
I think he's got a bigger responsibility in being basically the father of Laurent now, that when he gets back, he can't leave. He's not allowed to. Otherwise, you're abandoning that child.
We don't know what's going to happen in season 4, too. Yeah. And who's to say? Look, I don't like a world in which Daryl is written off the universe, let's say. That we don't get to... That'll... But like, I could see a world in which Caudron finds meaning in taking care of Laurent, let's say, both French speakers. And
you think he'll come back to America with them if that's the end of the show?
Rachel, you're a big fan, I think, of Caudron, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I could see that. I would want that for him.
They're going to have to fix a cruise ship to bring all the people they want to bring back to America with them.
At least they got
the zombie apocalypse's version of Waiting for Godot. It's like, oh, the cruise ship will come. It'll come. Look at the watch. It's season 25 of The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon only.
There was an interview recently where someone was talking to Norman about...
As you've been taping the 4th season, which is the last season, is that right?
Yeah.
How has it been knowing that Daryl's story is coming to an end?
There's a famous quote from David Bowie when an interviewer asked him, so what do you think your final words are going to be as you die? And he goes, they're going to be, but. That's kind of how I feel right now. I'm satisfied with where we've ended up, what we're doing now. There's talk of every time Daryl can't sit still, he just wants to run. Every time he ends up someplace, he gets that feeling he's got to go, he's got to run. So, maybe there's a better way of life. Maybe we're doing it wrong. Maybe the running and the fighting that we've been doing for so long is the wrong way to go. That's a large portion of where we're going to end up.
Okay, so perhaps Daryl's story doesn't necessarily end. It just kind of continues elsewhere. Just kind of keeps going. Use your imagination.
It's above my pay grade.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way. Even if he doesn't have his own spin-off show anymore, I feel like they'll write Daryl into something else. Either a cameo character or they'll still tell his story going forward in some way or another. I don't think this is the end for Daryl.
He worded that very oddly, but it was counter to what he had been saying. Well, and speaking of that, do you remember I mentioned in our NYCC highlights coverage, there's a guy, Mike from Long Island. His article finally came out. The bottom line is it was pretty cool. He got to sit down with Zabel, Nicotero, Reedus, and Gimple. And he asked a couple questions of them. I would go into it right now, but I think you should read it for yourselves. I'll probably put a link in the description or in our blog for it. I already put it on our Twitter account, so you can catch it there.
I hope this series ends with Daryl finding out Rick is still alive.
It better. At that point, they'll be doing the fans a disservice by not giving us some kind of closure in that department.
Even if it's not him getting
I'm
back
owed
to
so
America
much.
to find out. I know, us as viewers in general. I don't know how they would get word to him somehow, but...
You don't necessarily have to have them meet
right
in the finale, but like
right.
just Daryl gets the word like, hey, Rick's back.
Yeah.
And just a quick reaction and then cut to black, whatever. And then whatever new show they want to do down the line, you can kind of tie that up.
Yeah. I feel like that's...
Which should be the plan, but I don't know what Gimple really wants to do. I don't know if he actually hates us or not.
Daryl was asking, like, why did I have to do this? Why did I have to leave?
You had a reason. You were going, especially to look for Michonne.
Yeah. It was to find Rick, and find Michonne, and find the truth.
I think what Daryl was saying in the episode was it wasn't necessarily to find Rick.
But
there could be an argument to be made that
then he
flung himself into the wind to see if maybe he was there, but really it was because he couldn't settle.
Well, he tells Judith, "I'll bring him home."
Yeah,
at the end. So like,
if there's a home, if there's a him to be had. Well, because Michonne goes out there, she's not back, etc., blah blah blah. I can see what you're saying. She'd already been gone so long, and we know now because that year, and I think it's technically 2 years because you have the year after the fall, and then you have the year since the Whisperer War. I think basically just about.
So I would say,
remember when the Commonwealth was dead, they got demolished, and they had the memorial the year after.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's the year between the Whisperer War ending and then the Commonwealth arc. Let's say, right, with the Reapers and all that
6
stuff.
months. So when the Whisper War ends, is a 6 month time jump. They put that card up.
Okay.
When Daryl shows up at the gates of the hilltop in the armor, that little scene.
Okay.
And then I would say they wrap up like maybe a couple more weeks until they finish off the Commonwealth in their timeline.
Fair.
I'm guessing there, and then another year. So yeah, a year and a half.
Year and a half. Fine. So those are
and that allows like travel time from Michonne leaving to actually getting to Pennsylvania, Virginia, where CRM is.
It's in Pennsylvania.
So travel time and then travel time
specifically,
and then the time she's in the CRM, which is at least a couple weeks, and then travel back.
Well, and I'm not even talking about the back. It's just when Daryl leaves for Maine.
Yeah.
Time that we're in right now, and that's why I put it 2 years after Michonne leaves, because I think there may even be wiggle room because when he goes out on the bike. I don't know how long after the memorial, the year after memorial, when Daryl leaves, because time after that is kind of wonky.
I just always said he left right after the memorial. Like that was it. Like, he's like, all right, I stayed for the memorial. I'm hitting the road.
Or didn't say anything at all except to Pookie or whatever. Yeah, Carol. True. He's Pookie to Carol. And the I love you scene. And
I just kind of always assumed that was happening within the same day.
Let's even go with that. That's fine too. Michonne's not been back for a year and a half, and so he figures he's going to go out there and see what happens. And been looking for something. Rick. And he didn't have to do that. Rick could probably find his own way home. Is really the point. I say all this to say, let me just mention the blog actually. So Idle Hands blog is Mike from Long Island's article. It does address some of this stuff. To your point about like what's the future of this series and the Walking Dead universe on the whole. And his screen name is. What is AOL Instant Messenger? It's at Munson1897, MUNSON on X, and idlehandsblog.com, which we actually used during the NYCC highlights episode that we for something else. I think it was the Running Man, Glenn Powell, Running Man, not the same guy, but he writes for the same blog, Mike from Long Island.
Even if Rick were at the new Commonwealth, wherever they're at now, Daryl probably most likely would have found a reason to go out and look for something anyway.
Therefore, answering my question.
Yeah.
So you think he would just be unsettled, even with Laurent, even with Rick, and Rob thinks he would stay before Laurent.
I don't know.
What do you think?
Do you think Laurent is any more or less of a reason to stay than Judith and RJ were?
I would say more, definitely, but
I would say more.
Really?
Yeah, because he had made a promise to.
Sure. 100%.
Wow.
Sure.
Ouch.
Why would you say ouch? Because
what would keep him and Laurent both from going off together?
That's kind of where I was headed, actually.
If Laurent is the voice or whatever, the soothing, the healing one, why wouldn't you take him around to other places? Other
Well, to keep him
settlements.
safe, keep him alive. It's too dangerous to take him out.
Well, I'm not talking about when he's a little kid, but as he gets older,
Even now.
I don't think Laurent would be content to stay in one place and only minister to the same people.
Oh,
when he could go around and meet others and help other people, because that was his thing.
That weird irony of still fulfilling his fate, but in another country. Sure, that would be really cool. Actually, I would love to see that show. It just said address your David. Why are Judith and RJ nothing? I'm like, saying is nothing, but I'm just saying in terms of getting to stay. Obviously, he left even with them around. I'm just saying, is there a chance he may stay if it's Laurent? Yeah. Will he? I'm not sure or convinced either way. They went through some stuff together, and he rescued him, and he sees himself in this kid a little bit. Whatnot.
He and Judith have been through some stuff.
Well, the biggest difference is that even when he and Judith went through stuff, there were always other people around. Whereas Laurent,
her whole life.
Right. Whereas Laurent, it was pretty much just him and Isabel and Daryl there for a while. So I feel like there's a little bit of difference there. Maybe he feels like Laurent is a little more reliant on him because he doesn't have this big extended family that Judith and RJ had.
Who can explain why we feel a kinship with one person over another? And I think when you form a kind of connection with somebody, it doesn't mean that other connection is less than. It just means that you feel a certain way about this kid that you could probably say, oh, it's my found son. And of the family whom I lost, or the love that I lost, there's a little bit more of a stickiness to that relationship. It's to say that there's less of one with Judith. It's just that it's different. It's different. That's how I'll say that. It's definitely different. And you could even tell the difference too when you look at some of the scenes with them in it, Judith and RJ. He doesn't feel like he's up to the task, etc., etc. He doesn't feel that way, I think, with Laurent. And maybe that's the training wheels too, is that his experience with Judith and RJ was maybe the training wheels that led him to being able to take full responsibility for Laurent. And maybe it wasn't perfect, but we'll never know unless we get back home. To echo what you guys are saying, I'd love to see it, but I don't have the faith that we may. I don't know. Will we see? Because then won't we run into the same issue or a similar issue to Rick finally being reunited to his kids and it feeling really weird in some respects? Well, and Rob, you weren't there for that. No. So what was your reaction for the end of The Ones Who Live?
I cried.
Oh,
I was really touched by the end of The Ones Who Live. I know a lot of people thought that RJ's acting was a bit wooden. That just chalked it up to being a child actor.
Sure.
That was like the least of my problems with the show. That show.
That was most of it. It's kind of like with the books versus TV shows and movies sort of thing. Your mind is way cooler than a show is ever going to show you. And it's kind of unfortunate.
Don't get me wrong. I wanted a bigger reunion, not just RJ and Judith.
Oh,
I would have preferred to see other characters come greet them together. So if it's RJ and Judith in a field by themselves, an ambiguous field, we don't know exactly where, if it's at Alexandria or the Commonwealth or whatever. But
we definitely know it was a blue screen. So
yeah, we definitely know that.
It was a sound stage. So no, you don't get what you want. This is the same reason that I was able to write that off, is because it's the same reason why you don't make too much mention of Sarah and Wendell. I was able to be okay with it because if you don't say anything at all, they could show up somewhere else, maybe. And if you don't include more cast members in Rick,
why are you reopening those old wounds,
now I'm like mad.
Why are you reopening
I'm so
those
mad.
old wounds?
I'm mad all over again.
The reason why I bring that up is because if you include more actors from The Walking Dead in the scene with Rick and Michonne and Judith and RJ, it's like, okay, well, but are they still alive? Are they okay? Maybe they're not. Maybe they're somewhere else. Maybe they have their own adventure.
If Sarah and Wendell show up at the end of Daryl Dixon when they end up back in the Commonwealth, I will be extremely happy. That's all I can say.
And wouldn't it have been worth it?
But I will say that right now, Wendell's got a pretty sweet job with Tim Allen fixing cars, so I don't know if he's going to show back up or not.
Sure, pretty sweet deal. But hey, if it happens, you never know with this universe.
So at least Wendell and June were reunited?
If he brings Sean William Scott back with him, I'm totally cool with that too.
Who's this guy?
What?
Well, we picked him up in California.
Sean William Scott's on Jenna and Tim Allen's show. Yeah.
Shifting Gears, I think is what the show's called.
Yeah. Shifting Gears, Wednesdays on ABC. Check it out.
It's pretty good. Yeah. I have yet to watch the second season. Just to give everybody context, Jenna Elfman, who played June on Fear the Walking Dead, Wendell on Fear the Walking Dead is played by Daryl Chill Mitchell, who's also on Shifting Gears. Sean William Scott randomly shows up in the Walking Dead universe. Sure. I'll take it. Why not? Charity's laughing, and we missed the delicious laughter. It's fine. She's still going.
I was just thinking about Tim Allen like showing up with Home Improvement, be like,
I thought the same thing.
Oh my gosh. That's Pee Wee Herman. Stop.
Pee Wee Herman and
David.
What was his character's name?
The Commonwealth needs more power.
Oh my gosh.
And Rachel's like, why are you encouraging this, Charity? And she's like, you're the odd man out. I'm Path.
If you like what you heard.
Wrap it up, David.
At the very end, we had the honorarium for Amy Lacey. She was a script supervisor, and she died in a hit-and-run car accident in September.
We mentioned all that, in the first episode.
Oh, that was okay.
The season.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd throw that back out there because they put it back up in the credits again.
Thank you for reminding me. I love that they did finally do that because I thought they were going to do it in the first episode, but I guess they didn't get to including it until now. But she was the script supervisor for this universe too. So I guess it kind of makes sense that she pulled it all together. There were 2 musical themes that came up that I was very, very cool to hear. When Hussein and Daryl leave on the motorcycle, when they leave Paz behind, you have these scenes of them going across the country, and I love this song. It's Miles Davis's Sketches of Spain. It's so good. I have a copy of it, and Miles Davis actually saw a performance by flamenco dancer Roberto Iglesias, with his wife Frances. So ever since he saw that performance, he was obsessed with the idea of incorporating jazz and Spanish flamenco, and he did this collaboration, and through that collaboration, first of all, brilliant album, incredible. Some people criticize it being jazz at all, but he's like, it's music, I like it, I'm gonna do it. And he actually went on to win a Grammy Award for the Best Original Jazz Composition because of this. Incredible song, great trumpeting, beautiful. But there's another one, and it's When the Boat is Burning, and it is Hurt by Nine Inch Nails, as sung by, and it's in Spanish too, even though I think the person who's recording it is Chilean. As quickly as I could actually research it, his name is Nico Bori. He's like a metal artist who did the Johnny Cash 9 Inch Nails acoustic-y version of the song. If you find it, it's almost literally the same as it was played on the show too, Nico Bori's version. So what does that mean in terms of at least the hurt part? Obviously, they're hurt that they can't go back. Fede manages to dig one more hurt on Justina by ruining her chances of a better life, the thing that we all want for our children or family, the people that we love. So the one thing he says to Antonio when he catches Carol and Antonio, Fede, he says, some people sacrifice for the ones they love. And then some people, he looks at Antonio, and this makes me, this is another thing that gets me disgusted about Fede. He goes, and then some people let other people sacrifice for them. And then you see what he does at the end of the episode. He does everything he can do to not take responsibility, to let other people sacrifice on his Marga, to sacrifice on his behalf only, to keep him in power, to keep him as the one in charge, to get the last word, to get the last revenge. Big dildo energy.
Okay.
Yeah, accurate.
Other than this was a pretty good season for the show, I would say overall. I really enjoyed this.
Daryl Dixon is still my favorite of all the spinoffs.
I think it's the strongest in terms of writing and acting.
And even execution.
Cinematography, everything. It's definitely got the biggest budget, I feel like. I don't know.
I think they've managed to do some pretty innovative things with that budget to kind of stretch it, but yeah.
Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after these messages.
We just thought we'd remind you to show this episode some love by tapping that like button, if there's one to be tapped, subscribing to our podcast or channel, and if available, enabling all notifications, and sharing the show, or clips of it, with everyone you know. And don't be afraid to reach out. Leave your questions, feedback, ideas, or even concerns in the comment section. There isn't one? Head on over to ratethispodcast.com/squawkingdead and leave your thoughts there. Rating our podcast is the best way to get our attention because it also boosts our visibility. And we'll probably address it in the next episode too. And if you think there's something to what we're doing here at Squawking Dead, tip us over on Ko-fi. As a token of our appreciation, you'll receive forever access to our Discord, along with 30 days access to our uncut episode and interview recordings, plus our pre-squawk insights. Take your support further. Join a membership tier on either ko-fi.com/squawkingdead or patreon.com/squawkingdead, and you'll unlock access to more channels on our Discord server, receive shoutouts at the end of every episode, and depending on what tier you join, the ability to join us on camera and mic to break down future episodes alongside us. Thank you for hearing us out and making it this far into the episode.
We now return you to our regularly scheduled podcast.
I will say, I did enjoy the spaghetti western-ish themes, and obviously during the showdown where the Roberto thing was happening and Daryl shooting some of the men with the guns, and the one guy goes through the the awning of the stall, right? Which is very super
Western,
typical.
yeah.
But as much as I enjoyed it to a point, right? There's the Ennio Morricone. Is that his name? Ennio Morricone, the musician. There's like themes in the score of like spaghetti western music. At a certain point, it felt a little bit masturbatory in a sense. I enjoyed Spain. I enjoyed all that stuff. But then to keep incorporating the spaghetti western element into all of this stuff, I didn't think that it got in the way, but I almost felt like, okay, I don't know. I'm trying to say something, but I don't know if I'm hitting it. It doesn't really affect it too much, but
I think you've said enough.
Because I used the word masturbatory.
We're done now. Thank you for listening, everyone.
Nobody has anything to say to that.
No, thank you, everyone, for being here and putting up with David. Go follow us and do all the things. Everyone agrees. It's time to stop.
Everybody
now.
agrees that it's masturbatory, and if there's a
stop. Oh, you're the worst. I can't stand you. Oh my god.
Well, in the episode, I've been your host, David Cameo, and I was joined by and
Blazy Gardner.
And I've been Rob at Rob Stuff and Things.
We're not coming back for another episode for a little while. This is how it's going. This is how it's ending. So do all the things, buy our merch.
This is how it ends.
Tip us if you like what you heard, and join a membership so that we can keep the party going in the Discord and all that stuff. And
Please
behind the scenes.
Yeah, please. I mean, or not, because then we don't have to hear David
say masturbatory. Then listen to the uncut version of this podcast where there will be a lot of boners in there. They're dildos.
What? Nobody said boner once. Well, now they said it twice. We said it twice now. No,
you said it.
No boners.
I said boner.
All
again.
the dildos.
So now we said 4 boners. Now there's 5.
5, but all the dildos.
All the boners.
And
dildos.
Tiny dildo energy.
We're talking about Fede, or?
Yeah.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you later.
Okay, bye.
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 Thank you again for making it to yet another episode of Squawking Dead. This one, The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon's Season 3 finale episode. Its 7th episode, titled Solaz del Mar. And I think I may have misspoke when I said that we wouldn't be back for a while, because we did an assessment after New York Comic Con highlights episode and did a little research, and we spoke about it in our Discord, and we will be giving Welcome to Derry a try. It's a new series on HBO Max, and it covers the events of Derry about 27 years prior to Stephen King's It. So we'll see where it goes. In the meantime, as I mentioned earlier, I hope you check out our merch store, which is hosted on squawkingdead.com. We've made a couple of changes since we first started tinkering with it. Not just the merch, but the site itself. You can always use your feedback. You can leave a little comment in the comment section wherever you're listening to this, or if there isn't any, you can always head to ratethispodcast.com/squawkingdead and leave your review there, and we'll post it on social media, tag you if you leave your social media handle, and we may even talk about it in the next episode, most likely. And now you've reached the portion where we shout out our memberships, namely the Survivors and Whisperers tier members. Since we don't have any Survivors tier members, we will move on to our Whisperers tier members, starting with @Kim.Rowley, the number 1 on Facebook, and closing with our dear pal Rob Lucchese, who joined us for the overwhelming majority of episodes of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 3. And you can find him on TikTok @RobsStuff_ N as in Nancy _ Thangs, THANGS. You can check out his unboxing videos and get a closer look at his collectibles room behind him in our episodes and see him do his thing. And you may be seeing our Walkers members on the screen right now if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify video. And if this is the last time you'll be hearing us or watching us for a little while, I really sincerely hope you see us really soon. As always, continue the conversation on our Discord server. All it takes is a tip on ko-fi.com/squawkingdead and you get forever access to our Discord, or join a membership tier for as little as $4 a month and you get even more access to our Discord server. I can't wait to see and speak with you real soon. So in the meantime, just remember that we are Squawking Dead.